As children, we have this uncanny sense for wonder. Somewhere in between becoming a child, into adolescence, into our teenage years, and finally into an adulthood, we lose it. We look back on our lives and we say, how did I get here? What does this mean? Today, I'm going to help you find your passion and discover your future. This is me at the end of my high school. Typical kid. Nothing really kind of out there or unusual about what I was doing. But everyone around me had been telling me all these things. Everyone likes to give you their advice. They like to tell you what you should do with your life. They like to say, oh, go to a great school, study hard, get a good job, then maybe, you can settle down, you can have a family, but then what? What do we do next? And I think that far too many of us get caught up in this idea that all we have to do is listen to what other people advise us to do. Many people will tell us that the surest way to success and happiness in life is conformity. That simply isn't true. See, for me, I wanted something more. I wanted something different, something that wasn't just tradition, something that wasn't just what everyone else wanted me to do. Because you know what I knew? I knew that if I lived someone else's life, that would be lame. Steve Jobs was a very intelligent man. And so for us, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. That is so clearly evident in all of our lives when we look out and we say, I never intended to be in this job. I never intended to win that game. I never intended to start that project. But somewhere, someone, somehow, we're there. We don't need to get too caught up. When I was 13, I had the good fortune / accidental challenge of starting my own business. I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I need $1,500 for a new Apple laptop. And like every good mother, she said no. But she said, if you could figure out how to earn that money yourself, then maybe I would be cool with you buying it. And so that's what I attempted to do. At that time, I didn't know how to make money as a 13-year-old. There wasn't a lot of options for a 13-year-old. I wasn't going to have a glorified lemonade stand. So I chose to model some of what my mother was doing. She's a graphic artist for American Montessori Life, the art director for the National Magazine, and she had clients who at this time didn't have websites yet. So I got into this idea that maybe I could make a website. MySpace actually existed back then, and a lot of people had this idea that this HTML and CSS thing that was going around and all these custom themes could actually be made into a profitable business. So at the age of 13, I started designing and developing websites for some of my mom's clients. And then from there, I was able to actually receive a grant from an organization and go forward with that grant to actually end up hiring an employee, and then 2, and then 3, and then eventually I was able to sell that company by the time I was 15. Oops. This was when I realized that I wasn't doing what everyone else was doing. This is when I realized that I wasn't doing something traditional, that I wasn't following a particular path, but rather I was following a passion. And the only reason why I'm here today is not because I have it all figured out. Far from it, believe me. I doubt myself about friends, about family, about girls. I'm just like you and me. What I struggle with may be different than what you struggle with. But that doesn't mean that it makes one thing any more or less important than the other. I'm here because I followed my passion. I grew up in Orange County, which I'm extremely fortunate to say that I did. But it was lacking in activity. It was lacking in energy. And so I moved to LA. And it's kind of a funny thing in LA. There's so many people, but there's even less interaction. You can walk by people on the street, everyone's got their head down and they're walking. People will completely ignore you. People will look the other way. So that's when I realized that what I had to do was harness the energy that I had for my passion and begin to share that with others. Otherwise, I was going to sit in my small studio apartment for the rest of my life. It isn't without a lot of luck and opportunity that I can say I've been able to participate in many different things. Now, I didn't choose to take a traditional route. I didn't choose to go to a traditional four-year college at a brick-and-mortar institution. I didn't choose to go and get a typical job. I didn't choose to do all the safe things. But by each unsafe choice I made, I expanded all of the opportunities that I had. And so these are just some of the things that I've been able to do. Each and every one of us in this room is one adult away from being a success story. Each and every one of us in this room deserves to meet their mentor, deserves to find that individual who will take them to the next level. Whether that be a teacher, whether that be a celebrity, whether that be someone who they look up to in their particular field. It's not that difficult. Because you see, all of us in this room, we have a unique opportunity. And that opportunity is our age. Whether we're 50 or 15. People do not need to look at each of us as following a career and then phasing out that career. Because all of us should be lifelong learners. And for those of us that are younger, we have the chance to take even more chances, to take more of a risk, and to see how all of these things can help coalesce into bringing us something great. So what's your excuse? I ask you today, what is your excuse? What's that reason why you didn't start that new job? That reason why you didn't start that new project or why you didn't create that new brand? What's to keep you from being the next CEO of a Fortune 500 company or the next person to research and find a new medical breakthrough? For me, I didn't want to be 15 years down the road and find myself doing what everyone else in my family had done, which, in all honesty, was nothing that was unnotable, but they complained. And we all have these people in our lives. They come home from work and they complain. They come home from school and they complain. And they're never quite satisfied or happy with what they're doing because they've missed out on an opportunity. They've missed out on a dream. Or maybe they're unsure of what they want to do. So for those of you thinking, I'm not quite sure what I want to do, or I'm not quite sure what I'm good at, well, what's that thing that when you do it, other people get jealous? What's that thing that when you watch other people do it, you become jealous? What's that thing that your friends, your family, your coworkers tell you you're great at? Because that thing is the thing that will lead you to success, that will lead you to fortune if that's what you're after, that will lead you to happiness in the end. Sometimes the very things in life that hurt us the most, that become the most troubling, the most painful, are the very things that we can use to help others. And no successful business model or opportunity arises out of a perfect situation. It arises from a problem. It comes from something that is not working, is not picturesque, perfect, and all we want to do is change it. All we want to do is make it something unique to us that we can harness, that we can say, we made a difference. For me, I struggled with a lot of things. But each time that I was able to overcome, whether it was my age and people doubting me about it, whether it was someone saying that, that's not a good enough business idea, or, I don't think that will actually sell. I said, all right, haters are going to hate. It's my job to prove them all wrong. It's your job to prove them all wrong. It's all of our job to prove them all wrong. Each and every one of us in this room owes it to ourselves and to others to put ourselves in someone else's place, to see through their eyes, to see what they think about what we do, and to then move on. Because if we continue to let ourselves governed by other people, then that's just it. We're living their lives. Many people think the surest way to success and happiness is conformity. That's what I said in the beginning. That's what I'm going to end on now. Thank you very much. This is where you can reach me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. If you have an idea that you think is worth sharing with the world, if you have something that you think is going to be profound and useful, or even make an incremental change that could spiral into dramatic change, I would invite you to share that idea, because this organization, this TED that we're here for, technology, entertainment, design, is not limited to any one in particular thing. It's confined only by what we make of it. So thank you very, very much.